Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about how to find your maintenance calories. Because I get this a lot, and this is something I deal with clients all the time. And I think people need to remember that the only way to actually ensure that you gain weight, lose weight, or stay at the same body weight is to know approximately how many calories you use a day and how many you eat. Um, and what people need to remember, that is an approximation. And I always tell people tracking exact macros is probably borderline eating disorder. And the reason I say that is that you can't actually do that, just like you can't accurately track your caloric intake. Okay, all we're getting is a ballpark estimate. Okay, it is impossible for you to know with certainty plus or minus, say, 30 calories of what you ate today. Okay, if you took a scale and you measured out 3,000 calories, you probably ate somewhere between, 2,800 and 32. That's if you use the digital scale for everything and measured everything to a tenth of a gram. Now, that'll confuse a lot of people, and I'm not going to get into the physics and chemistry as to why, but that is true. That is true. You could easily be off by 200 either direction. So, how do we even go about finding our maintenance? And then people start asking crazy questions like, man, how do I track my maintenance on different days? How do I track my activity? Okay, this is why people get confused. They overthink it, and you have devices in the industry that give people nonsense like, oh, we wear this device and we know how many calories we burn during this activity. It's completely irrelevant. It's not useful to you to know that because you don't know what you burn the rest of the time, and how does that thing even really accurately measure it? Change one hormonal system in your body and it is no longer accurate. Okay? Thyroid, testosterone, any of that. It will alter that. So, how do we track it? Changes in scale weight. Changes in scale weight. If you want to know what your maintenance calories are, you need to start writing down everything that you eat. Notice I didn't even necessarily say to weigh it. I mean, you know, if you drink a gallon of whole milk a day, there's 4,400 calories in it. Do you need to weigh that? You know approximately what a 1 pound chicken breast has. It's ballpark. You'll get just as close as people weigh. But the main thing is that you need to have a good estimate of what you're consuming. Okay? And you need to weigh yourself every day. That's how we find maintenance. Now, some people say, well, people with eating disorders and this and that, they can't weigh themselves every day. Well, if they learn to be objective and emotionally detached, you can. But the majority of people don't have eating disorders. Now, I have 4 clients who do have eating disorders. Okay, I have 4 who have a history of it at this point. 4. So, yeah, we do have to factor that in for them. But for everybody else, stepping on the scale first thing in the morning, having one in your bathroom because you get up and pee and everything, you weigh yourself first thing in the morning before you eat. You now have a consistent measurement that's not dependent upon what you do through the rest of the day. Is it going to fluctuate a little day to day? You bet. But if you check it every day and you take your average over the course of a week, you're going to know roughly how much body weight you gained or lost, or if it stayed the same. If you track your food intake and plot it over 7 days, what are we going to know? We're going to know what your average caloric intake is per day, right? This will get you in the ballpark. If you weigh in every day for an entire week and you just look at it, look at the plot, see on average how much weight you gain or lost through the week. Because it doesn't matter if the first day is way off if the other days are consistent. Okay? And so let's give you an example. Let's say you weighed in at the start of a week about 170 pounds. Okay, about 170 pounds. And you averaged your food intake, kind of kept up with everything you ate. And it doesn't matter if you ate 3,600 one day or 2,400 another. If you averaged 3,000 calories per week and your average weight gain for the week ended up being half a pound. Let's say you started the week at 170 and towards the end of the week you were 170.5 pounds. It usually takes 3,500 calories to adjust tissue weight up or down. Now, people are going to say, but how do you account for hydration there? Well, why are you dehydrated? If you're active and you're consuming adequate fluids and salts, you should never, if you train and work out and you have days where you don't get proper hydration, you need to just give up on trying to train optimally. You need to drop this nonsense of thinking you're going to track anything. You're just not responsible enough with your health to start worrying about things like maintenance calories. You need to start worrying about proper hydration and having a lifestyle that's not garbage that makes you get dehydrated because you forget to drink. Okay? So I don't care. That's my simple answer to someone who gives me a thing. Well, what if I get dehydrated through the week? I don't care. You're not serious enough about your fitness to worry about things like maintenance calories yet. You got bigger fish to fry. So you're wasting my and your time. Go learn to drink water and get electrolytes in. Okay. Then we can worry about your maintenance calories. And so maybe you ruin that whole week then, so maybe you need to get your life in order, and the next week you can go restart this process. Okay, problem solved there. See, I'm pragmatic like that. So we know that it takes about 3,500 calories for the week to make the scale change up or down a pound of tissue weight, approximately. So if you gained approximately half a pound, that means that you most likely consumed about a 250 calorie surplus every day. Because 500 calories surplus a day would be 3,500 for the week. You could approximate, based upon that data, that your energy turnover is around 2,800 calories. Okay? That's for the week. Now, does it matter if you burned 400 more calories on one day than another? Does it matter? No. Not for the course of the week, not for the course of your tissue changes for the week. Does it matter if one of those days, even though you averaged 3,000, that you ate 2,500 on one of them? Does it matter as far as your average calculations are concerned? No. It doesn't matter. People get caught up in this nonsense. That's how they develop eating disorders. Getting caught up in stupid shit that doesn't matter. Now, let's come over to it. That's a determining probably for that week. Now, that's only 1 week of data. There could have been some errors in there. There could have been some fluid shifts. So then you track it for the next week. And it might turn out, because of your minor calculation errors, that it turns out that your maintenance might actually be 3,000 according to your calculations the next week. Okay, that's fine. We're not going to gain or lose enough weight in a week if we miscalculate by 200 calories for it to be significant in the grand scheme of a bulk or a cut, or even your maintenance, because you know what? Your body fat is going to fluctuate every day anyways by a small amount, by a few grams, an ounce. Okay, it's going to. By just using this simple model I gave you, just weighing in every morning and knowing your average caloric intake for the week and knowing your average weight change for the week, because you weighed in at 5 a.m. when you woke up every morning. You have a loose count of your calories. And I say loose because even with a scale, you're plus or minus 5 to 10%, no matter what you do. Only stuff that is pre-packaged and weighed with an exact consistency, like milk, is probably about the only thing, or a liquid like that. It's going to be the only thing that's going to be truly consistent. Because when you're weighing dry things or raw things or cooked things, the hydration becomes a big deal. Okay, it's going to be potentially off slightly. And that's okay, because we're just getting in the ballpark. And here's the thing. If you want to gain or lose weight, you need to be in a surplus or a deficit. Okay? I don't recommend people do large surpluses or deficits ever for any reason, for the most part. So if we're off by just a few hundred calories and we're only eating a few hundred calories deficit or surplus, we might only fail to reach our goals for a week, because it'll start averaging out over the course of several weeks. Problem solved. You generally shouldn't be in larger than a 10% deficit or surplus, unless you have a very good reason, says me. We're not ever trying to make major changes in body weight in a single week. It's not wise. I don't care whether it's gain or loss. So, how do you implement this on a more practical level? I'd say for people who are trying to be fairly consistent, They need to adjust their food intake slightly every day based on what they weighed on the scale that morning. If your body weight was a hair higher than you predicted, you might want to cut your calories back 200 for that day versus what you've been eating. If it's a little too low, if you come in a pound too low, you might want to bump your calories a little higher than what you've been doing. And notice I didn't say change up or down. I said high or low relative to what you're supposed to be gaining or losing, because you might be in a surplus, you might be in a deficit. All right, this is the easy way to track maintenance calories. It's better than any device, any sort of crazy method that you can come up with. It's consistent and it works. Okay, just track your daily food intake and step on the scale every morning at the same time. Done. Easy to estimate. All right, guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.